I love that 1/2-inch Milwaukee gun so much. Full disclosure, I went out and bought this one myself. Here we go. Okay, so we talked a lot about vehicle loyalty and kind of how silly that is because not one manufacturer makes the best all across the board in their trucks and their vans and whatever. So I just kind of want to start talking about tools a little bit as well. I got some really great advice when I was younger and started out in the shop. There was another mechanic there who was in the trade for 15 years and his entire box was Snap-on. And he regretted it, told me don't do it. The sockets and the wrenches, basically you can get the same stuff at Home Depot, the same quality. When it breaks, they will replace it just as quick as Mac and Snap-on and Matco will. So he goes, I wasted a lot of money. Now, when I was in construction, I bought a trailer full of tools, and it had every brand of tool in there. I was able to find tools that I really liked. They were all top of the line, Bosch, Milwaukee, Makita, and DeWalt. And never really had an issue with any of them. I've had guys drop my drills off of the roof that was 16, 20 feet up, land on the hard clay or the frozen ground, the battery popped out, you climb down, pop the battery back in again, and they still work. That's a great tool to me. A tool that's able to fire up first thing in the morning when it's minus 15 out coming out of a trailer. That's important stuff that you can only get in the real life situations. And I tried to carry that over into my mechanics toolbox as well. I went back into mechanics after we built my house and shop, which is the main reason why I went into construction. And I wanted to stay close to home. I had a young family. I have a young family now. I want to be home for that. And the construction was really wearing me down. So my mechanics toolbox, I took the advice of that guy who was in the trade and went out and bought just Canadian Tire and Mastercraft and Craftsman tools. Never regretted it. Specific tools like my torque wrenches, my impact guns, those were all name brand. Whether it be Ingersoll Rand or Mac, I've had a lot of different air tools, and my torque wrenches were all Snap-on. Now, my drills were always DeWalt, and those were the drills that were in the trailer when I bought that trailer, and it had a 14.4 volt DeWalt drill, and I loved them just because they weighed a lot less. The 18 volts were coming out back then, and the batteries wouldn't last longer, they just had more torque. But basically what we used our drills for was just screwing down the roof steel. Hundreds of thousands of screws, that just these little 1-inch screws that didn't need to be torqued deeply, but that weight, when you're carrying that weight on your tool belt the entire time, that really does a number on your back. And me being 6'3", really tried to keep a good eye on my health and my back, so I went with the lighter drills. As to tool loyalty, you don't need to have the same tool across the board, but when you're coming to cordless tools, you absolutely do. And that's mainly because of the batteries. There's no reason you would have a Makita charger, a DeWalt charger, or a Milwaukee charger if you're happy with one brand. You have one charger that's able to charge multiple different batteries, and it only makes common sense. But we've recently started using some of the Milwaukee tools, and I am extremely impressed with them. So much so that I went out and bought my own, the ones that Milwaukee wouldn't give me because they already came out to market. I never knew it until they got a hold of us that they are trying hard to break out into the automotive sector. And because they're trying to impress us in the automotive sector, I found a lot of things about their tools that I really couldn't design any better. Now, I know what you're thinking. It is hard with cordless tools if you've already invested thousands of dollars into different tools with one kind of battery that fits them all. But I'm switching also because I've had Milwaukee construction tools for 10, 15 years now. Always very happy with them. I've seen them fall off of roofs from 20 feet up and be okay. I've used them in the dead of winter, and they've all held up extremely well, more than I could ask for them. I am extremely hard on my tools. Now, I've had an inspection camera for probably 6-7 years, and when Milwaukee sent us a light bar, underhood light bar, I was super thrilled to find out that the battery for the fuel system still fit the old camera as well. I really feel that the Milwaukee, there's a few more tools that we're going to be looking at soon. They've really geared them towards the end user. Very impressed with their innovation, and I like the fact that they are reaching out to channels like ours for our input. Now keep in mind that your comments stay on the video, and they'll be reading the comments, and they use channels like ours to basically use your input to further the next line. If there's a pile of comments that say, you know what, this keeps breaking, or the anvil keeps breaking, or the trigger keeps breaking, that's a good way for them to improve on that on the next model. So I want to thank you guys for watching. We'll be doing more tool reviews on Milwaukee and others as well. And I want you to know that we're working with companies that we already use their products, and if we're not happy with it, we won't do a review, and we will not release a video on it. We've sent some tools back, not from Milwaukee, but other brands that we said we were not happy with them, and I can't make a video on this because I wouldn't buy it, so I'm not going to recommend that my audience buys it. So thanks again for sticking around. Make sure that you comment on all the video reviews on things that you like, things that you don't like, things that you want to see, and we'll be able to work closer with companies to make it all better for us at the end users. So here we go. Well, we've had some good times, but what do you do? You were always kind of useless. Yeah, you can stay.
You're watching? You're watching. You're watching. You're watching.
You guys are watching?
You're watching.
What? The boss garage.
Subscribe.